The first thing I notice here is that the denominator of all three fractions are the same. So that means we can simply add and subtract the numerators together and put it over top of that denominator. If the denominators weren't different, we need to get a common denominator, and that would add a whole nother element to this question. So the first thing we're going to do is just add and subtract those numerators together and get one fraction. And then clearly, based on what the answer choices look like, we'll need to simplify. All right, so the denominator is that x cubed plus 2x squared minus 16x minus 32. The numerator, so again, you have to consider, since you're subtracting this one, you're subtracting all three terms. So if you subtract all of them, you got 2x squared plus 5x squared is 7x squared minus 4x squared is 3x squared. X, there's no linear term here, and then minus 9x, so that'll be minus 6x. And then there's no constant here. Negative 13 minus 11 is negative 24. All right, so that is the simplified, well, it is the subtraction after you added it and subtracted it. Now we need to simplify it. The way that we're going to do that is to factor the numerator and denominator separately. So the first thing I noticed in the numerator is that there's a GCF between 3x squared, negative 6x, and negative 24, and that would be 3. So I'm going to take a 3 out of that, and you're going to get x squared minus 2x minus 8. What jumps out at me right away here is that 3. If you look at your answer choices, the numerator has only one of them that's a 3. So at this point, I am fairly confident D is going to be the answer. We'll work the rest of the problem out and see if that holds true. But in a situation, if I was like running out of time on a high stakes test, I would pick D and move on. If I didn't have time to do the rest of it, because I'm fairly certain that's going to be the answer. All right. So the numerator is going to be 3, and then x squared minus 2x minus 8. We can factor that. It's just a simple trinomial to factor what multiplies to negative 8 and adds to negative 2. That's going to be x minus 4 times x plus 2. So I'm just going to put that over there for safekeeping while I now factor the denominator. There's 4 terms in the denominator. There's really 2 ways you can look at how to factor something with 4 terms. The first is just see if there's a GCF. And with this one, there's not. The second thing you can try is factoring by grouping, right? What that means is you cut it in half and you group 2 halves of the 4 terms, okay? Between x cubed and 2x squared, you can take an x squared out. And then that would be x plus 2. Between negative 16x and negative 32, you can take a negative 16 out. All right, and then that would be also x plus 2. If factoring by grouping is going to work, what you get in the parentheses at this step would be the same. All right, then between these 2 terms, and x squared times x plus 2 and negative 16 times x plus 2 are 2 separate terms, you can factor out an x plus 2. So essentially what's in the parentheses comes out front. What's left over is the x squared minus 16. What I notice here is x squared minus 16 is a difference of squares, so that can get factored one more step. So now you've got x plus 2 times x plus 4 times x minus 4. So that's your denominator fully factored. So let's put that over here. X plus 2, x plus 4, x minus 4. Now we can just, obviously this question is written in a way that it's going to work out where some of these terms are going to cancel out. So the x plus 2's here and here are gone. The x minus 4 here and here are gone. And what you're left with is that 3 over x plus 4. So now we're also confirming that the denominator is that x plus 4, and B would be your answer there. All right, let me know if you have other questions.